Hello, you're welcome to yet another very exciting edition of the program Tech Innovate. Yes, enough of the holiday and the merriment and all. This is strictly business. I'm your host and girl Ginika. Last week we discussed e-parenting, how you get to know what your child is doing online. But today's edition of the program is very package full, from our Gadget of the Week segment onto our interview segment, where we discuss a very trending issue that, is going to either shape or mar the use of our internet, like in our lives in the coming future. And then onto our DIY segment. Today's program is indeed package full. Let's go on the short break and we'll be back with our Gadget of the Week.
Imagine a smart government agency enabled by smart people, smart processes, smart technologies, and committed to building smart public agencies across the nation. Welcome to Galaxy Backbone. One government, one network.
Power Ray drone sounds like a fisherman's dream. The waterproof vehicle is compatible with an optional fish finder add-on that uses a sonar system to detect fish and send images to the user. It operates at a depth of 30 meters or about 90 feet for up to 4 hours at a time. It is suitable for use in fresh, salt or chlorinated water and has a 4K camera that can shoot 12 megapixel stills. The mid-level package gives fishermen a way to cheat, homing in on prey underwater with the company's Power Seeker fish finder, shining lights and dropping bait to attract them using a remotely operated bait drop line. The basic package, the Power Explorer, has a 50-meter cable that tethers the device back to a base station above water. Besides keeping the drone from getting lost in a strong current, the cable transmits power to and video from the Power Ray to the base station.
Imagine a smart government agency enabled by smart people, smart processes, smart technologies, and committed to building smart public agencies across the nation. Welcome to Galaxy Backbone. One government, one network.
You're welcome to this interview segment where we talk net neutrality. Now, net neutrality, which is like network neutrality, is a complex and controversial topic, and it's an important part of a free and open internet, enabling access, choice, and transparency of internet, and how it empowers users to benefit from full access to services, application, and content availability on the internet. To look into this very trending issue with me is Adegoke, a digital rights advocate. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I've given a little hint about net neutrality, but from your angle, I might not really say it in depthly like a digital advocate should. Okay. So give us a broader look at net neutrality of its own. We already know it's something that allows you, it's excuse me, it's regulatory stuff that allows you, have free access to the internet and all. Okay. So what's this thing coming up with net neutrality, and then somebody's trying to say no to net neutrality?
Yeah, so net neutrality is a principle, and the principle of net neutrality is one that allows all internet traffic to be treated the same way. So, in a simple way, let me use a definition that was employed by somebody from the Web Foundation. It's about making all of the internet available for all of the people, all of the time. So the idea is that when you're on the internet, everything that you encounter on the internet, there is a kind of a democratization to it.
That's like democracy online?
Exactly, something like that. So whether you choose to be on YouTube, on Facebook, on whatever application you choose, every traffic is treated equally. Okay. There is no prioritization, there is no specific consideration given to a particular application on the internet. So everything is treated equally. So it then gives the individuals or internet users the choice to determine which application they want to use. Because the implication is that when internet traffic are not treated the same way, that means you have limited choice. Internet service provider can determine which application you can see or you can have access to. And another way to look at it is that internet service provider can also determine which application they allow to stream faster, the one they allow to slow, and all that. So there can be a lot of manipulation. So the principle of net neutrality ensures that every internet traffic is treated equally. So there is neutrality. You don't prioritize any. That's the whole idea of net neutrality.
Now, so with the number one president of the world now coming up with restrictions on the internet, and the fact that people, might have to sometimes pay, because that's where it's leading to some like informations online. What are the effects? What effect do you think this will have in the future?
Okay, when you said number one president, I know you're talking about the but I think that will be debatable now. There are a lot of people who don't consider him as number one.
Okay, again, so I'll rephrase the president of America.
Better you say that. But I don't think Putin or even the guy from North Korea will agree with you is number one.
All right.
Okay, so let me go to the question. So I mean, what happened in the US? The FCC vote to repeal, because what they did in the US was to repeal net neutrality, and it has a lot of implications. What it means is that now internet service provider can then play around internet traffic. They can do everything opposed to what net neutrality stands for, which means that, and I'm going to simplify it so that people who are listening at home can understand. If I go to the internet today, I decide what I want to do on the internet.
Yes.
You understand?
There's no restriction.
Exactly. No, when you repeal net neutrality, the implication is that my internet service provider can determine what I can do on the internet, because they can probably based on how much I'm able to pay. They will now determine what services I can have access to.
That's more like pay as you go.
Something like that. Not really pay as you go, but like the size of your cloth, the size of your purse will determine the size of your cloth, and the size of information you can access, of the amount of information you can have access to on the internet, or just generally what you can do with the internet. So the implication is that people will now be left to the hands of ISPs to determine what they can do.
When you say ISP, what do you mean?
Internet service providers. And the other implication, that which is the most important implication, is that when you look at the world, not everyone is on the internet yet. There are about 3 billion people that have not yet experienced the internet at all, and that is where you have the greatest implication. What it means for those people is that for you and I, we've experienced what the internet means. So even if net neutrality is repealed in Nigeria, we still have a choice to say, oh, I want the whole of the internet. But for those who have never experienced the internet, imagine that what somebody in a village first experiences, maybe just Yahoo, Facebook, and Bing search, the Bing search platform. Now, what it means for that person is that that person will not know that there is a Google alternative that he can also use. That person will not know that there is also a Twitter that he can use as opposed to Facebook. So what you limit the choices of those people, and you give them some of the internet as, and unfortunately for those people, they will not be able to access the kind of opportunities that those of us that have seen all of the internet are able to access. So that is the implication, especially for the unconnected, for those that are not connected yet. That means that you will limit what they can see. And let me quickly bring this home so that you know that even this issue is already brought home. Already some service provider in Nigeria, and what they have done is that they've kind of collaborated with Facebook to say that when a user is on a platform, he can access Facebook without paying for data. So the whole idea of that is that for some people, they can decide to be on that platform and experience some of those Facebook. But the truth of the matter is, even when you're on that kind of application, you cannot still have a full experience, because pictures will not load, videos will not load. And this age that we have, that is even video that is driving traffic. So those people will have limited experience. As a maybe further questions will speak to that. But as a digital rights advocate, we don't support that. We don't believe that that is what people should experience on the internet.
So what are the things to consider in the fight against dismantling net neutrality?
So the whole idea is that when you dismantle net neutrality, you are killing innovation, because people who innovate, they also depend on existing innovation That's what people build on. Now, when you kill net neutrality, what it means is that for young people who want to come up with new applications, you have limited their choices, you have limited their leverage, their ability to leverage on, the open internet, where they can just search for whatever they need and leverage on whatever application that already exists. What they now are going to be faced with is whatever you offer them, which I think it is not helpful for, especially for developing countries, for third world countries, for countries that are still trying to leapfrog the development stages to be able to join the Committee of Development Nations. So it is very important to stress that once you repeal net neutrality, you kill the internet as we know it, and you now create a new brand of internet that will now depend on how much you have in your pockets, which is very dangerous for development.
All right, so let me bring this home now to you. How is this an infringement of digital rights?
Yeah, so interestingly, in July 2016, the United Nations came out to say that internet access is a basic human right. In other words, access to the internet is not a privilege. And if you look at it further, you can argue that internet should be treated as a basic utility. And when they say something is a basic utility, like water, like even public disposal system, like light, whoever is providing those kind of services, they are seen as utility providers. So they are not selling luxury goods. From my knowledge of basic economics, there are classification of goods that are sold. You can have I can't remember the specific name now, it's been a long time, but there are goods that are classified as luxury goods, which means there are things that you don't really need but just use to show class. If care is not taken, the internet can get to that level whereby it's something that people use to show class, and it's not supposed to be so. Internet is supposed to be a basic utility that anybody should be able to access, just like anybody can access water. Because if you look at the 21st century, or the world that we live in, we practically live on the internet. So if you create a policy environment that create an opportunity to shut people out, is dangerous. It's not helpful, and it's not fair. In talking about public good, it's not fair to public good.
Okay. Now, seeing that dismantling net neutrality will in some sort damper various innovations and increase competition among the already made internet companies and their customers, you think there's a remedy to this, and how do you think it could work? Because I feel like this is some issue we really need to look into and then take action.
Yeah, so the remedy is to not allow things to happen in Nigeria, because even in the US where this happened, it was a very close call. The vote was 3-2. Which means that it was very close. But currently in the US, 12 attorney generals in the US, they are going to court to challenge that decision, because it also underscores the importance of how important decisions like that needs to be made. I don't think it's appropriate to leave such a very important decision to the hand of a regulatory organization. It's too critical. That is something that should have gone naturally to the parliament. You understand? The equivalent of FCC, the FCC made that decision in the US. The equivalent of FCC in Nigeria is the NCC. Yeah, now if that decision is going to be made in Nigeria, to be made by NCC, which is also dangerous, that kind of decision should go to the parliament. The importance of making those decisions go to the parliament is that you will ensure that there will be a proper stakeholder feedback. For example, if Parliament is going to arrive at such decision, they are going to invite all stakeholders. The ISP will be there, civil society will be there, advocates like us will be there, human rights defenders will be there, private companies, and everybody will be there to be able to argue on why net neutrality must be sustained. Having said that, I have to also mention that, let me just be clear about this, that already in Nigeria, something close to a repeal of neutrality is already happening. I give you an example of what is happening with the network, and to further enlighten the audience about this, there was a time there was an argument that in which ISPs were arguing that people who provide OTT services, OTT services, over the top services, like all this Skype. Once I have data, I can make call over Skype, over WhatsApp, and all of that. So they are arguing that they should pay extra for being able to do that. You understand? And these are some of the things we benefit because of net neutrality. Once they repeal net neutrality, what it means is that all those your WhatsApp call that you do for free, you can't do it again. Your data will not be enough for you to do, or even if you are going to be able to do, you are going to pay more. And that's why net neutrality is not good for the system. It's not good for innovation. So the point I'm trying to make is that when when those kind of decisions are left to the hands of just regulators, I don't think it's safe. But we must commend what the Nigerian regulator is doing, because they have not succumbed to pressure to repeal net neutrality in Nigeria. In fact, as a matter of fact, in October, I think the NCC released an internet code of practice, which they asked stakeholders to submit input. And I was reading through that code. It's very important that in number 2, they spoke specifically to people's right to the open internet, which I think is very commendable. And in number 3, they broke it down to say that internet service providers should not throttle traffic, should not discriminate in provision of traffic and all of that, which is very, very commendable. But it's very important that we have to be a guardian. We have to, if you don't want to lose net neutrality, everybody needs to watch the space and make sure that we are asking questions of the regulators, and because it's only a matter of time before. Because what happened in the US is that the head of the FCC was changed, so there was somebody who believed in net neutrality and somebody came who doesn't believe in net neutrality, and that was all it took to change the rule. So the same thing can happen in Nigeria. If somebody who doesn't believe in the principle, or somebody who is more business oriented, who is more friend to the private company, he can come and say, no, we need to change the rule in Nigeria, and that can fly through if you don't change the system. The only thing that can stop it from happening is if citizens are very active to demand that no, this cannot be done, and also depending on the legislators to also rein in the Nigerian Communications Commission. But I think as a matter of priority, it's something we need to guide jealously, because Nigeria US is a more developed country. They won't feel the impact the way a country like Nigeria will feel it. So it's very important that we protect it.
So I'm saying, like, my next question is, like, looking at the relationship between America and Nigeria, like with the repeal of with the repeal in America, how does this affect other countries of the world, especially Nigeria?
So look at it this way. We like to, in fact, everything we do, our dressing is everything we copy the Western world. So almost everything we do, if a Nigerian policymaker wants to justify his action, we say America is doing it. Oh, they do it in America. When you travel out, you get to the airport and you come back home, in your head you're thinking that thing they are doing over there, they should be doing this in Nigeria too. So it's an example that has been set by a leader of the world. Whether you like it or not, a lot of other countries look up to America, and we want to follow after their example. A lot of our laws are modeled after what those countries have. So that is where the problem is. So there is somebody somewhere thinking now that if America can do this, we too can do it. You understand? That's where the challenge will come from. And I won't be surprised that there will be an increasing pressure on the NCC. The NCC will now begin to get pressure that you people, you don't want us to do this, but see, America is already doing. That's a forward-looking country. We should be able to do it. But that argument does not hold. That America doesn't make it right, or doesn't make it the best policy direction for us. We shouldn't be towing that line. It's very dangerous for us.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I've been very enlightened, and then I hope you guys out there too have been very enlightened. Let's go on a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Tech Innovate will be right back.
Imagine a smart government agency enabled by smart people, smart processes, smart technologies, and committed to building smart public agencies across the nation. Welcome to Galaxy Backbone. One government, one network. Imagine a smart government agency enabled by smart people, smart processes, smart technologies, and committed to building smart public agencies across the nation. Welcome to Galaxy Backbone. One government, one network.
You're welcome back. So this is where we wrap up the program. On today's edition of the program Tech Innovate, I'm your host and girl Ginika. Do not forget to follow us on our social media platform showing on your screen, and just in case you missed our previous editions of the program, you can look us up on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search for PTV, and then search for Tech Innovate, and you find us there. Now on net neutrality, I say no to dismantling net neutrality. Till I come your way again, stay very innovative, be very creative, and keep your eyes on technology. Bye.